Yo, what is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new locals feature match. We are in round 2 for the week, and we've got Eldlich, pure Eldlich, on the left versus Phantom Knight DPE on the right. Important thing to note, no Adventurer engine in this Phantom Knight deck, no Scythe Lock, just Phantom Knight DPE. Relatively speaking, kind of a budget build as well, since the adventurer stuff is so expensive currently. So my man John showing off just exactly what the deck can do without that engine. So if you guys are going to look forward to this particular match, and as these guys get ready to start, let's take a look at the poll results so far. And this is just as I'm recording this. I'm sure by the time this video goes up, there'll be a lot more votes on this particular poll, but as I'm doing this now, just shy of 400 votes, and Phantom Knight DPE being voted for the most at 70% to Eldlich 30%. So let's see if you guys are correct. You guys are wrong in the last round feature match, which if you guys haven't seen, I'll leave a link to it up in the top right. Let's see if you guys can redeem yourselves on today's round 2 match. We're going to see Phantom Knight win the die roll here to go first, which is exactly what you want to see if you're the Phantom Knight player right now. See him lead Torn Scales, pitching the Cloak to dump Wings, Rhoda into Boots, and then Boots summon to go ahead and make Cherubini here. Cherubini going to go ahead and dump for cost, by the way. Copy of Graph. And we'll see if Graph resolves. Looks like it will, to go ahead and summon out the Seer from the deck. And we're going to see him link off the Cherubini and the Seer for Rusty. Seer effect to go ahead and revive the Cherubini. Combo we've seen time and time again. Also, just probably explaining to his opponent all of the cards. So I don't think this particular opponent keeps up with the meta too much. I also had the pleasure of playing against this Eldlich deck as well. It was actually a pretty good match. We had a pretty good match. It came down right to the wire. And I did top deck a red reboot, which I did feel a little sorry for, but you know, it is what it is, right? That is Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes you're the one who top decks the reboot, and sometimes you're the one who gets rebooted for a game. That's just the way it is. So we're going to go ahead and see the Cherubini get brought back. Wings is going to revive Cloak, and then that will trigger Torn Scales. And then we're going to see Cloak here activate its effect to go ahead and give Rusty an additional 800 attack. So that'll bring it to 2,900, I think, until the end of the next turn. So it'll make it a little bit more difficult to get over for his opponent. It makes it so Golden Lord at least can't walk over it at 25. I'll have to summon it from the hand to get it up to 35. We're going to see Gloves activate to go ahead and dump the Fog Blade to the graveyard, which will act as a Monster Reborn here, and could also potentially act as an interruption during the next turn to bring back something like Breaksword. However, we will not see Breaksword here, though. We're going to see Leviair, and this is going to help recycle that Gloves. Could also make a link to here for Anaconda to get access to DPE while recycling most resources, but we're going to see him go for a link 4 here, and that of Appaloosa with 3 materials on it. 3 counters, if you will. So that's 3 monster negates. Now, little does he know, that's really not going to do too much here against this particular deck. Just because, you know, Eldlich really not activating too many monster effects at all, if but just one. So we're going to see Boots go get Shade Brigadine. And that will go ahead and link into Link Spider and help him get into the Anaconda. He'll pay 2,000 to go ahead and send the bricks alongside the Fusion Destiny to go ahead and bring out the Enforcer. So pretty much recycled all of his PKs in grave. He's got Gloves back in there, I believe. He's got Torn Scales back in there. I think Boots is back in there as well. I could be wrong, though. He did do a good amount of recycling there, ending on Fogblade, ending on DPE, Appaloosa with tons of follow-up, and that ends up being the biggest killer. It looks like our Eldlich player opened up pretty strong here. A copy of Golden Lord Trap Trick goes in match, picking up Hikaru as the 6th card. And I imagine this turn will probably be just set a bunch and pass. I mean, you could activate Golden Lord to try to force out an Appaloosa negate, and then activate, you know, Lord Engrave, and that'll trigger another Appaloosa negate. But then, you know, at that point, you've just had to get rid of 2 cards, you know, one to pitch the Lord and then one to send to summon the Lord back. So I wouldn't be shocked if we just literally see set 5 here. He does, I want to say, have access to Eldlich Engine. He might have opened up 2 Goes in Match here. Which Goes in Match, not too incredible against Phantom Knight. I know this from personal experience playing Speedroid, main decking or side decking Goes in Match, however you want to put it. Yeah, just never really worked out super well against the deck. You have to catch them in a very vulnerable spot where they're e-tellying out a Psychic Wielder or Tracker, or leading with something like Junk Forward, which not every build tends to play. But, you know, it is what it is. Not really the best card to see here. So he's going to go ahead and set 4. Not going all in here. We're going to see DPE activating end phase, popping itself in one of the back row, getting rid of a Ghost in Match. All right, not too big of a deal there. And if you're the Eldlich player, you're probably pretty happy that's what ended up getting sniped in the end phase. See him draw for a turn here. And then I think there might be something in draw phase here, or yeah, I think there's an effect here in draw phase that our Eldlich player wants to go ahead and activate. And I think just double checking on, you know, when DPE will resolve, and if he can activate something beforehand. I think that's what the question is here. So he will go ahead and activate Skill Drain prior, just so once DPE comes out, DPE can't chain to it and pop the Skill Drain. That'd be rather problematic. So he will flip that Skill Drain in the draw phase, I imagine. That's also going to turn off Appaloosa here, which is kind of nice. You know, turning a 2400 monster into a 0/1, kind of nice. And also turning off a Tour Guide as well, which I can only imagine is top decked. Very, very strong top deck. And in fact, if he didn't have that Skill Drain, it would probably just be an OTK here outright. I mean, he's already got a ton of damage on board, so Skill Drain definitely putting in a lot of work here. We'll go ahead and see him activate Cloak in the grave. Probably going to go ahead and search Boots, because I believe one out that this deck has the Skill Drain in particular is Access Code Talker, because of its ability to actually go ahead and banish itself off of the field as cost, which Access Code Talker can do. It doesn't have to banish things in grave. It can banish itself off of the field, or any links for that matter. And we're going to see him go ahead for Break Sword here, which it looks like we're not even going to see him go for Access Code immediately. I think mainly just because he might have game on board here. Yeah, especially since his opponent is at 7,000. So that'd be 25, 21, and 2,000. So it looks like on the attack of DPE, we're going to see a Hakero or a Conquistador, I think, get summoned, and that will block the DPE attack. Rusty will get in for 21, I believe. And it looks like after Rusty attacks, we're going to see Trap Trick activate. And yeah, unfortunately, not having true Eldlich Engine here, you know, like Sanguine and Kong for a pop, that would have been really nice, but having to get Sanguine through Trap Trick, not super optimal, but it will be a body to block this attack from Breaksword. Now, he could have played around Zeus had he summoned this Golden Lord in attack position, which I actually don't know if Sanguine has to, like, if it specifies attack or defense, but if he would have summoned an attack, he would have, you know, prevented a potential Zeus. Now it's just a lot easier for him to get to Zeus. He'll still attack with a Breaksword, obviously, into the defense position. Golden Lord, just so he can, you know, have attacked with an Xyz monster. And he'll take that 800 damage. We'll see him spec a Boots from hand. And then we're going to see him link forward, yep, as expected, into Access Code Talker. You know, similar to Auroradon tributes off the field as cost in order to activate any of its 3 effects. Access Code Talker is the same. It banishes as cost, whether you're doing that from the graveyard or the field. And since Access Code Talker is not on the field, when its effect resolves, Skill Drain is not able to negate it. The physical monster itself is not there, and thus dodging Skill Drain. Essentially, this throws off a lot of people, especially people that, you know, I would say aren't as experienced with rulings or just the game in general and how these particular interactions work. But you can go ahead and dodge Skill Drain so long as the monster you're using gets itself off the field as cost and not as a part of its effect. Because if it's a part of its effect, it's still negated. Because skill drain also specifically says those effects can still be activated. Just when they do activate and they're on the field still, they are negated. And we're also going to see a 4-mat Zeus, or no, I believe 4-mat Zeus here, which is pretty insane against an Eldlich deck. DPE Eldlich is like the last thing you want to see if you are an Eldlich player. That pretty much just spells game over. Very, very hard to be able to go ahead and out. We're going to see DPE clear the Lord, and then, you know, standby phase comes around, he'll come back, and we're going to see our Eldlich player top deck a Pot of Extravagance. Pretty strong top deck here, but he's got to top deck something really, really good here to get past DPE Zeus, especially with 2 sends available to it, drawing to Lord, or drawing into Torrential and another trap. Or he might have drawn into Lord and Torrential. Kind of missed that there, but really not going to do a whole lot here. I mean, you could activate Lord and just send Zeus. I don't know why exactly that isn't the play. So it looks like we're going to see Sanguine activate Engrave. And he's going to go ahead and set a Conquistador. And he's going to activate Lord Engrave now to go ahead and summon itself. And it is at 3,500, which is great. He also has Judgment in hand, too, which is pretty strong. We're just going to see Fogblade on the Golden Lord. So it cannot run over Zeus. It cannot run over DP. Can't run over anything here. Yeah, I'm just curious as to why our Eldlich player hasn't gone Golden Lord, pitch a trap, and send Zeus. Because you get rid of so much right there. You do have to get rid of a trap card, essentially. But, I mean, small price to pay. You could ditch the Hekaro, and then Hekaro can just replace itself in the end phase. We will see him use Lord here. And that's going to clear DPE, interestingly enough. Not Zeus. Because we're just going to see DPE activate here. Targeting it, or well, not targeting, but choosing to destroy itself and the Fogblade. Yeah, rather interesting order. I think that definitely could have been played out a little bit better there. Again, I don't know how new our Eldlich player is exactly to playing this deck. I'm not sure. At least also the first time on the feature match too, so you gotta love to see that. Always like having new players on every now and then. And it looks like we'll see, yeah, we're going to see the Zeus activate there, and I think our Eldlich player is going to go ahead and scoop it up, and we're going to go ahead and do a game 2 situation here. Yeah, I mean, DPE is already tough enough to deal with, especially if you're playing a control deck, but double send Zeus is also kind of insane. And yeah, as we get started in game 2, of course, quick shout out to Imperium Duelists. Guys, if you're shopping on their site, don't forget you can use my discount code WinnerKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel in the process. And if you guys are buying anything off of TCG Player or thecoldestwater.com, please do not forget to use the affiliate links I have to their sites found in the description below. Anytime you guys shop and check out using that link, a small bit of the revenue from your purchase will go right back into the channel and helps out a ton. So we're going to see our Eldlich player open up really strong here in game 2. Extrav into Duality, getting access to Lord here. And we'll probably just see set 5, keep Lord in hand, I would imagine. I think I see... I hope that's not another Gozen match. It is another Gozen match. Okay, so, I mean, personally, I think that's a card that probably should have been sided out in this particular matchup because, again, there's just so many dark monsters. And if there is a Gozen match flip that is, you know, preventing potential plays from being made, Breaksword outs it so easily. Rusty just summoning the Breaksword outs it so easily. DPE outs it incredibly easy. There's just, you know, a whole lot of play around to it. It looks like we're just going to see him set Gozen match. And then I think Broken Line, interestingly enough, being pitched alongside the Lord. To go ahead and just send the Gozen match, and then Lord adding itself back by sending Hekaro, and I'm assuming he's just doing this to get Hekaro effect here in the end phase, to go ahead and get access to a Sanguine. So the other 2 sets unknown, but the Sanguine currently known to all parties here. I think, yep, one of those is Torrential, and one of them is Sanguine. Not exactly sure what the other one is. So we're going to see him pass turn here. And PK opening up with a copy of Twin Twister. Really, really strong. Going to pitch the Seer. Hate to see that in the opening hand. So he is going to hit the other unknown back row, which ends up being Skill Drain Torrential. Pretty strong cards to hit there. And at this point, you really don't care about Sanguine whatsoever because, like, yeah, you're just going to summon Lord, which is not an interruption in any way, shape, or form. It's just a body you have to clear and is probably going to come out at some point to try and block damage, which you could probably easily out with this particular deck. So we're going to go ahead and see. The Cloak, Search the Boot. That's going to trigger Torn Scale. Torn Scale will summon itself. And just checking the graveyard now to see if there's any more Eldlich traps in there, probably. I think the only thing that's in there... Well, no, the Sanguine is still set on the field, but... yeah, that won't be a problem this turn either. We're going to see him activate Eldlich. And, yeah, like, this is, like, a point where you could argue, like, oh, flipping Gozen Match right here would be pretty strong. But, I mean, at that point, it's just easy enough for the PK player to be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and choose Dark, send off the monster. Right? So, it is what it is. Well, he's not activating Eldlich there. He's just discarding it for Torn Scale. Thought he was activating it, but just going ahead to dump the Cloak to the grave. But just saying for an example, if you were to use Eldlich there as an extender, you know, you can just get rid of the Psychic Tracker or Wielder. Or you could just chain Gozen Match to the Eldlich, and then I think the Eldlich would fizzle, since he doesn't have a Dark Psychic to summon. Not entirely sure, though. Yeah, and we're going to go ahead and see Breaksword hit the set, which he knows is Sanguine, and there's the FTK Ash Blossom on the Sanguine, and Breaksword is going to resolve here, summoning back the Boots and the Torn Scales. I imagine we'll probably see Anaconda here, or Rusty. We haven't seen him make Rusty yet, which is interesting. Usually Rusty's out and about by now, but I can kind of see why maybe not yet. So we'll see what exactly the play is going to be here. I mean, at this point, the only thing you're worried about, I think, is probably Nib, but I think the card in hand is known at least. I think because he went to go ahead and add Lord back by sending one, but he didn't opt to summon the Lord, which is also a little interesting. So our PK player, I think, is just definitely just free to play right now. It's just figuring out, can he go for a game, I think, is the question in his mind currently. Can he go ahead and put 8,000 damage on? And if not, what is the backup plan to ensure that there isn't a comeback from the Eldlich deck, because it's a deck that can grind if you let it get into the grind. So going to go ahead and try to avoid that. So we're going to see him link into Rusty with the Cherubini and the Boots. Rusty effect to go ahead and send Cloak to go ahead and set a copy of Fogblade. He also has Wings in the graveyard. We're going to see him banish Boots, and I imagine he could go ahead and get Shade Brigadine here for an extender. But he's going to go ahead and grab Fogblade. But, like, the thing with Fogblade here is, like, it only does so much in this particular matchup. Like, it really doesn't do a whole lot. So I feel like you maybe could have gone for Brigadine, so long as, you know, assuming it's not sided out at this point or anything. Grab Shade, summon it, make Link Spider, and then do plays from there, I guess. So we're going to see Rusty pop this Breaksword here, and then bring back the materials, link off the materials for Anaconda. Anaconda effect, pay 2k, dump the bricks, and no bricks in hand. You love to see that. Both coming from the main deck, and he'll go ahead and get access to DPE. So, I mean, if you would have gone for, like, Leviair detach, bring back Cloak or something, or Gloves, then make Link Spider, then make Anaconda, he would have Leviair on top of this, which yeah, no, wouldn't be game. He'd still be, like, 400 damage short, because I think Leviair has, like, yeah, 1,700 attack. So, end phase, we'll see DPE pop Anaconda and one of the Fog Blades. Okay, so this is making a little bit more sense now. So now he has access to Fog Blade, bring back the Breaksword for that additional pop, which is really key here against this deck. You want to be picking off its back row anytime they're reset, or, you know, anytime he's just setting things and going to the end phase. That's pretty much what this deck does. It really doesn't do too much playing on its own turn. It does all the playing on your turn. So if you can just wipe everything before it gets to your turn, then you're kind of just in there. It looks like we're going to see Lord send off a Fog Blade, And now we're going to just see him proceed to end phase here, activating Sanguine. And that's going to go ahead and set a Conquistador. And then we're going to see Fogblade activate in the end phase. That's going to go ahead and bring back the Break Sword. And that is going to slice and dice that Conquistador. And I think, folks, that is going to spell the end of the game here. Just explaining how this is all happening. And yeah, it looks like Phantom Knight is going to take this one 2-0. There's the handshake. If you guys want to see more of my content, check out one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, like always, a huge shout out goes to our Divine level channel members, and they are Tweeter0226, Ponystar, Cadillacs84, Keith Sidgers, and Black Ninja Money. Thank you guys so much, like always, for the extremely kind and generous support of this channel.